going to like Dana Bash, which means she's going to do
because
a
she's a
pitch
journalist.
perfect interview. And I think that is what we need, and that's what people want. The American public, and that goes back to my entire point. The American public does not want to hear us saying that, oh my God, she should do an interview on day 10 or day 12, and it should be with this person or that person. Yeah. It's organic. The entire Kamala Harris campaign has been organic. And so now we're...
What? Organic?
Man, I had to put the whole highlight tape together of Scott Jennings. He on here whooping him. Let him cook, baby. Let him cook. This video is brought to you by TatumStore.com. Get the merch link in the description section. Like and subscribe to the video. Y'all already know what to do, don't you? Y'all been watching me long enough. You know what to do. Let's get into this. How about we do this together? For all the people out here who love me and who watch my videos, let's do it together. We're going to do the let's get into this as a team. All right? Y'all ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's get into this. All right. Now we got that out the way. Let's get to this highlight tape. Your boy Jennings out here whooping him. And what I like is that he's intelligent, he's articulate, he has a little bit of comedy with it. But if people on CNN and these leftist networks would actually open their minds up to listen, I think they will find that the things that he's saying is accurate and true and not emotional rotoclip.
Is there the line now going to be, well, why isn't she doing it by herself?
Yeah, I do think people are going to bring that up. Look, I have great confidence in Dana and CNN to do this. I think it's incredibly weak sauce to show up with your running mate. The fact that they don't have enough confidence in her to let her sit herself, the actual top of the ticket, and do a single interview. In fact, I think the hand-wringing and the gyrations over this over the last month show a troubling lack of confidence in her political ability, which also makes you wonder as a voter, well, what kind of president would you be if this kind of a small-time decision, can we do an interview or not, what does that look like for your decision-making process, so on? So, yes, I think Republicans are going to think it's pretty weak to show up with effectively someone to take up half the time.
We're going to like Dana Bash, which means she's going to do
because
a
she's a
pitch
journalist.
perfect interview. And I think that is what we need, and that's what people want. The American public, and that goes back to my entire point. The American public does not want to hear us saying that, oh my God, she should do an interview on day 10 or day 12, and it should be with this person or that person. Yeah. It's organic. The entire Kamala Harris campaign has been organic. And so now we're...
What? Organic. This is the literal most manufactured presidential campaign ever. She didn't even run.
It's
the opposite of organic.
Can I ask you one question? Like, you've been a part of a lot of campaigns, right? Yes. A ton of campaigns.
And in every one,
and how many campaigns in your manufacturing have you been able to manufacture 400,000 volunteers, right, or $540 million? Or how about this? 4% of the electorate, 4% of the entire electorate in the state of Georgia has volunteered for Kamala Harris.
If you believe
all
that,
right,
I got
no doubt.
I'll end this.
Yeah, look, let me put this in perspective. It's not organic. The woman was the VP. She was running on a ticket with Joe Biden. They had a campaign that they were running. And Joe Biden pulled his pants on the debate stage against Trump. So he dropped out, but she kept running. And so all the volunteers that volunteered for him, all the money that went to him, that was going to him, that was going to be allocated to him, all the DNC support, all of the people that vote for Democrats, whatever, they're just going from him to her. It's that simple. She didn't just come out of nowhere and have an organic experience. Come on, man.
This portion of the conversation by agreeing
that
Dana Bash is going to do an excellent job.
Can we switch seats?
An excellent job on Thursday. Everyone stick around for us. Coming up next, Harris and Trump.
It might just be true that the Harris campaign was trolling Trump, looking for a way to get under his skin every day. And it does seem like if you pay attention to some of the social media that's out there, that they are really doing a very good job at just needling him every single day. They're playing a lot of offense on the campaign. And that's the kind of thing that Democrats want to see. And it's the kind of thing that I think ultimately hurts Trump. Look, Trump right now is 0 for 1 when it comes to debates, right? Like, he may think that he won that debate, but it might be that he actually lost the war because of that debate. Because after that debate, Joe Biden left. And when Joe Biden left, he ended up with Kamala Harris. So he should be careful.
0 for 1. Jamal, my brother and colleague. 0 for 1. He literally ran a man who'd been in politics for 52 years out of his chosen profession over a debate. I mean, look, I understand what you're arguing, that you all traded in for a better candidate, but Trump won the debate. He is not 0 for 1. Are you saying he actually did so well that he did badly?
But this is exactly the problem with campaigns. Very often people are focused on the minutia of what it means in this tack or that tack. But the question is, are you winning the fundamental argument? And for right now, Donald Trump may have tactically won the debate, but strategically, it may have cost him the entire election because he ended up with a much better candidate than the one he was aiming for. And he's probably now a couple of points behind.
But what they
Let me explain that real quick. Yeah, it may sound like that in a rigged situation, but in all actuality, that's like saying I'm in the college playoffs, football playoffs, 4 teams in. You know, well, I can't say that because, well, let's put it like this: I'm in the playoffs. Well, now let's just say I'm in the championship game. I'm in a conference championship game. If I win the game, I have to play the number 1 team in the nation. So it's advantageous for me to lose the game. It's like, nah, bro, I'm gonna go out and compete every time I get an opportunity in front of me, and I'm gonna do the best that I can to win. And when I win this battle, I'm gonna prepare to win the next battle. Maybe the challenge is a little harder, but I'm still going out to compete to win the battle. I wouldn't be here if I couldn't win. Donald Trump had to go out and whoop Joe Biden out of his profession. He had to. You wouldn't kind of do that, kind of do okay, and leave him in the race to one day hope that you win. It's like, nah, bro, you go out there to compete. Him beating Joe Biden set the tempo. I think he got a lot of momentum in his direction. Then they tried to kill him. I mean, that helped him too, unfortunately. And then he just got indicted the other day. That's helping him again. And then RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, amongst a few other people may come out shortly after that have come out and said, let's unite through independent and the Republican ticket against communists.
use a lot was, I'll be a dictator. And I said jokingly on Sean Hannity, who's a great guy, I said, no, Sean, I want to be a dictator for one day because I'm going to get going with drill, baby, drill, and I'm going to strengthen the borders to a level like you've never seen. I only want to be, and after that, I'll never be a dictator. So I said it nicely. I said, one day, because I want to do the energy and I want to strengthen the border. One day.
Scott, the thing about that is that Sean Hannity actually did try to get, Sean Hannity was trying to be very helpful with Trump in that initial interview and sort of was clarifying like, hey, I just want to make sure like, you're not really going to be dictator. And his response was, well, just on day one. So he didn't actually help himself all that much. Do you think this clears it up?
Yeah, look, I always thought this was overblown too. I agree with Adam, by the way, on his first comment. I thought the thing about Adam, I thought Adam was exactly right. So this dictator thing, when I watched it, I thought he was sort of half joking, but also just trying to make a point. Like, if I could, I would change these policies right now because it would make the United States better. What's sort of amazing about it is this whole dictator thing. It has become the basic underpinning of the entire Democratic campaign. I mean, every speech, every surrogate, every set of talking points they send out to people, you hear. I mean, you've heard it on this show.
Well, he does have a thing for dictator. I mean, he does have a thing for strongman. H.R. McMaster, in his new book, I had him on last night, writes about this, and McMaster was flummoxed and concerned. He told his wife, toward the end of his year there, like, I can't understand the hold that Putin has on this guy, Duterte. And finally, H.R. McMaster came around to, at the end of his book, writing that he thinks, and this is from memory, so I don't want to misquote him, but basically that, that by getting the admiration of strongmen, of dictators, that it'll make Trump feel like he himself is a strongman.
Look, I've never served in the Oval Office with Trump, so I can't speak to McMaster's in his impressions of it. I just know that on this particular comment and the way it's been construed by the Democrats, I think has been completely, like a lot of comments, like the bloodbath thing, that's also been blown out of proportion. Trump does occasionally say things that then are like little crevices where you can get a foothold and start, climbing what I think is an untrue wall. And Democrats have really blown these comments up. Now, whether people actually believe it or not, I don't know. I mean, he was president for 4 years. He was not a dictator. He was constantly flummoxed by Congress on occasion, so he pretty much operated like a president does.
Scott, do you think he's dictator curious?
Adam.
Oh, sorry, Adam.
For you,
So
Adam.
what did I say? What did I say?
Oh, that was
sorry,
funny.
Adam.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think he is dictator curious. I mean, look, to my friend Scott, I agree with a lot of. Look, I think the broader context is about the dictator. It's not focusing on just the one comment. But let's keep in mind, he would have stayed in office on January 6th if law enforcement would have allowed it, because he tried to overturn a free and fair election. So that kind of stuff comes into play with all these comments. But I agree, if you're going to just focus on that one or two things he said, there's broader issues. And I think actually the Democrats are and need to do a better job of bringing that big, around in a bigger point.
Adam Kinzinger, Scott Jennings. Thank you.
Kinzinger's I wanted to say it, Lord help me. It started with a P. And I want to use the B. It started with a B or the P, whichever one. He's one of those. Maybe both. I can't stand that dude. He's a coward. If I ever saw him to his face, I'd call him a coward, and he wouldn't do nothing about it unless he want to cry. That's the only thing he'd be doing. Or sleep. One of the two. But I'll tell you this. They make these inferences. Donald Trump would be a dictator. Donald Trump would have been in office if he would have gotten away with January 6th. Like, you have to be stupid to think any one of these people can actually be a dictator. The closest dictatorship would be a Democrat, because they're hook, line, and sinker in standing behind their Nazi folk no matter what they do. If you're a Republican and you're in office and you refuse to acquiesce to the transition of power, what are you actually going to tell people to do? You're telling me that the commander-in-chief that's unlawfully in office is going to go to the military commander and say, I need you to take up arms against the American people and guard all of this space here so I can stay in the White House. Man, the military commander going to say, I'm not listening to you. The Congress will impeach him. And if somebody was that brazen, they will also impeach him and remove him from office. And then he has no say of what the military can and can't do. He's no longer the commander-in-chief. They will physically go in his office and take him out with a boot in his butt. Nobody can be a dictator in America. And his quote says, dictator only for one day. He said dictator for one day. First of all, you can't be a dictator in America. So clearly it's tongue in cheek. And then he didn't say, I want to do it it's just one day. But the Democrats take the one day out of it and say, you want to be a dictator. You can't be a dictator in America. The president don't pass laws. He don't write legislation. He can sign it into law, but he don't write legislation. So if he got nothing on his desk, he can't do nothing. I don't get how people are just stupid. He's going to be a dictator. He was already the president. If you said Kamala would be a dictator if she was president, it's more believable because we don't know what she's going to do. She don't know what she's going to do. We already know she's feckless, but we don't know what she's going to do as a president. And I'm going to say this and then I'm done with this video. Kamala Harris is a threat to democracy because she's so effing weak and compromised. I don't want a woman. I don't think a woman should be leading in the first place. But if you're a woman and you good enough and you quality and you have those intangibles to lead, then I support that. I think a man should be taking that position as the president. But that's not even here nor there here because she's a terrible woman. Period. She couldn't lead to save her life. She's not going to be bold enough to have a conversation with Putin or any of these world leaders. She's a puppet. At least Donald Trump is his own man. You know he's going to make decisions based on what he believes is true, not somebody telling him what to do. Go here, go here. Kamala Harris didn't do nothing as VP. She ain't got no leadership skills. We should be hearing rumors of Kamala was really the one running the presidency. She don't even have no pull as VP. Anyway, comment in the comment section. See you on the next one. I'm out.